Althea Hart, widely known as a former cast member on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, recently shared a screenshot of a conversation on Instagram alluding to a relationship with a man named D when she was 15 years old, stating she caught it was a PDI now considered STD. That was so severe she was hospitalized and jeopardized her ability to bear children. The text also referred to D as being the owner of Ruff Ryders. Damn, Hanky, you know him? Hanky, you know? Hanky,
I can neither confirm nor deny.
You know, Hanky gonna be quiet. He gonna plead the fifth.
Know the man. Do you know the man from Ruff Ryders?
I don't know him, man. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Know who it is. Hanky
So we
knows.
ain't talking about your friend.
So this is my theory on everything, right?
Here we go.
All right. So I don't know if you all know they have a new law, a law that has a statute of limitations on when you could come out with cases or, of such nature. You feel me? So that deadline is approaching and these people are coming out the woodworks.
Well, New York's deadline has passed. California's deadline is coming up.
So this one is filed in New York.
Well, this is actually not a lawsuit file. Sister just vented. So hold on, let me finish. All right. So Althea, which sounds like Althea is confirming she was allegedly in a relationship with Darren D. Dean when she was just 15 years old. In the text, Althea claims to still be dealing with the childhood trauma and was recently triggered when he declared he wanted to fuck her when she DM'd him, asking him to help her with her music career. In this post, Althea acknowledges her mother and high school friends all knew of her relationship with D, but her mother didn't know how old he was. So with that being said, at this point, no, it's not a lawsuit. However, with everything that's been happening and coming out, Althea even chimed in on my last IG Live, and sis was upset. And now I understand why after she released these screenshots. She herself was in a situation with this man. She was 15 years old when she started dealing with him. Like, that's crazy.
So yeah, let's start with that. Like that'd be my whole thing about it. It's like, there's been similar situations where people have been dealing with 14, 15-year-olds and then now it's like 30 years later and it's like it's a problem. It's like the problem was back then. That was the time to nip it in the bud, in my opinion.
Hank. You gotta be careful. I ain't gonna hold you. You gotta be careful.
How?
Where you going with this? For the simple fact, we back in that time, like me, I'm 43, right? I've heard of situations like this. I mean, the R. Kelly, Aaliyah thing, we heard that like when we were younger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
However, the time that we are in now is a time where people are actually listening. Like the whole situation between Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeff Epstein opened the floodgates for all of this to even be possible. Those three men, as big as they were at the time and carried on, were able to go down. It gave people to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to seek some justice. I'm gonna try, even not if it's justice, just to be heard. Because what happens to the next little girl?
Okay, but this what I'm saying with the Aaliyah thing. Like, these things weren't hidden. This shit was all out in the open. Like, they even came out with an album that said age ain't nothing but a number. So that's what I'm saying. Why is it the outrage now? Because we saw the album, we saw him pee on another chick.
Because it was actual criminal acts that were taking place. That's why it wasn't just a song.
What I'm saying is that this particular person, the whole R. Kelly, it had been going on already. And when he finally went to jail recently, it was this big old like outrage, and I'm like, what happened in the 90s? Like, why weren't y'all outraged then? That's I guess that's my whole thing.
I think a big part of that is, number one, trauma does not expire. The trauma that these women feel or victims feel, it does not expire.
No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the public. I'm talking about the public. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But the thing about it is, even with the public though, you have to understand the mindset that a lot of people feel like some celebrities just do no wrong, like at all whatsoever. Like they have clean slates no matter what they do. They are damn near perfect. I think a lot of people feel that way, even especially with kids. They grow up idolizing certain artists. So what happens is you get into a space where it's like, damn, wait, they did this? That's fucked up. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I've held them in such high regard for so long. I don't like that. So it's like people's visions are being shattered, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Hey, no, you making perfect sense.
Alive.
No, what I was saying too, I think it just, the problem with the whole space thing is when people don't say anything for years at a time, because you deal with a lot of people. Like, if somebody slapped the shit out of you today, you're not gonna wait 30 years from now to go to the police station or to go pull a gun. You know, you go handle it right then and there.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's not true. That might be for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that's just me speaking personally.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's for you.
So, and I think what it is also too is, you know, I'm gonna look at it my way, and other people gonna look at their way. So I get that part of it. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, Althea's situation doesn't even stop there. Like, I mean, because number one, her being with the guy Dean, that was like a 15-year difference. So what a 30-year-old some man was doing with a 15-year-old is even beyond me. Like,
but that's what I'm saying from the get-go. Like, that's what I'm saying. At the core of it, it be stuff going on that's crazy from the get-go, and all this stuff transpires, and that's all I'm saying is, when they see a 30-year-old and a 15-year-old, when is somebody gonna be like, all right, stop that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but let's just be honest though, in music, it seems like this is almost the norm in the music industry.
That's not the norm in the music industry.
Back in the day, absolutely, I think it was.
I think that was just the norm back in the day, period. Like, that was the norm. Because even, like, we can look at The Color Purple and the new one, and they trying to, like, desensitize what was going on really with Mr. and Celie. Like they were in love. No, like, she was a little girl and he took her as his wife. Like, but again, you can look at Elvis and his wife and stuff like that. She was young and underage. I think that was just more so the thing back then. I'm not saying it's excusable, but it was just more so a normal back then.
You gotta think, I think like as well too. Like, for instance, my grandmother, born a long time ago, like 1923. My grandmother born in 1923. She was married by 1936. She was 13 years old. She was a wife at 13 years old and had 8 children. You know what I'm saying? So I truly understand where people get the idea like some of this stuff is okay because of what they saw in the past and imagery that we see in like movies and stuff. It was normal to like arrange this marriage for your daughter at a young age. But now where we are in 2023, where my grandmother was born 100 years ago, it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? Completely different.
And now we're speaking up and saying, no, that is not okay. And like you said, trauma, you know, it doesn't necessarily go away in a day. Like, that shit can linger and like affect people for life. So it is, I appreciate the fact that now we do have the platform to talk about it, like, and to be heard. And especially as Black women, like, because we were overlooked for so many years.
Right. I think
So-
Althea is in our comments. Rashida King, I'm not close enough to the
Let me
phone.
look. Let me look. And Althea. Okay, so she's one of the comments. It says, because you think you're in love until you realize they don't love you. You can be stuck for years and still going through pain and hurt. And then the next one was, you be ashamed and they be playing with your head. Like, yeah, it's like brainwash.
A mental abuse situation too.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So this is the question that nobody has an answer for. And I always ask this question, right? What is going on today to when we're all 40, 50 years from now that is normal? Okay. What is going on normal today that people are going to be outraged about 30, 40 years from now?
Don't know. We won't know until 40, 50 years come to pass.
But
It's
that's
definitely gonna be something else. Like, it's always something. Like, the wheel repeats history repeats itself. It's gonna be just something else. Yeah. But again, I don't feel like these are bad things that we should normalize, because again, our frontal lobe wasn't even developed fully at 13 to 15 years old. So I don't think that was fair that we had to go through that, even though it was normal for that time. Now, do I feel like certain people should be crucified as bad as they are getting? No, because some of those parents were involved. And again, money is a big factor in it. Some of these girls were grown and I'm not excusing no abuse in any way, but I'm saying, like, some people make conscientious decisions knowing what they're doing. Like, and again, we're still children at that time, so I'm not excusing it. But it's just like, at that time, it was a different time. So, but again, thank God that there are rules in place now where that's not even going for it. Like, we're not going for that. The like clip of Althea's book, right? Like, we got that excerpt, and just her being consistently in and out the hospital.
So the other craziness a part of Althea's thing was, Althea also goes on to say she's headed back to court with her son's father, former co-owner of the Source magazine and rapper No Neck Benzino, for not paying child support. This former couple's relationship has been turbulent since Love and Hip Hop. Althea has not announced any plans to file a complaint against anyone yet, but she has written about her relationships with multiple industry executives in her book, A Beautiful Mess. And we found a series of interviews where she details her relationship experiences. So y'all gotta take a look.
Out of anybody that I've ever been with, I was always in it for love. Maybe looking back on it, guys had different agendas because, they're men and they're in industry and they got the world at their disposal. But as far as any guy that I was ever with, I was always in it for love.
But the thing, like, I've been through it. Like, one of my people I was having a conversation with yesterday when I brought up the whole thing with Ruff, Ryders, and D, and they were like, yeah, I saw that going on, but baby girl was fast. And I was like, was she? Like, she was 15. She was young. I don't, like, I know back in the day they used to always say when we were younger, we were doing the most, they call us fast. But I don't think necessarily it was a fast thing. I think it was just a part of, like, this was kind of what was put in front of her. This is what she decided to entertain. Nobody was there to tell her, hey, Althea, no, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And now she was presented in those situations to where I know people that were around talking about, oh, nah, baby girl was fast. And it's like, damn. I mean, how fast could she be? She was 15, 16 years old. Like, so, but the thing about it is, none of y'all said anything about it, though. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's what typically happens with a lot of situations, even with the R. Kelly situation. And again, I don't like to bring up stuff that I don't necessarily know all the facts about, but even like in your own situation, when you see certain people may be getting abused or something, like most people just sit back and watch. And especially if you're dealing with someone in power and someone in position, like you're not gonna just be like, oh, I'm gonna go up against them. And most people now is like, oh, just mind your business, like, like stay out of people's business. But at the same time, it's like we need to start speaking up, like especially if you see something that's like crazy, like we need to start speaking up, because the girls might feel like they don't have a choice or a voice to even say anything, because they probably don't have a home to go to, nobody to look out for them, so they feel like this is it. You know what I mean?
So do y'all think at any point in time with the men that are in power that are being brought to the forefront, and put on display and some executed, do you also think the young girls should be held accountable as well?
Yes, I think the parents, all the adults around, because everybody ain't a victim. The people who bring their kids, they drop out their 14, 15-year-old impressionable young girls and just leave them with people. That's crazy. Like that's crazy as hell. I don't have kids and I know that's crazy.
Right.
So that's all I've been saying the whole time. Like if you see a 15-year-old with a 30-year-old in the 90s, that wasn't even back in the day. That looked crazy back then. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people excuse a lot of things in the sake of money.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. They absolutely.
And that's really what it boils down to. They see some crazy stuff, because if it was a 30-year-old working at Walmart hollering at a 15-year-old, y'all call the police in a heartbeat.
So
So let's stop the cap and let's call this shit for what it is.
Do you think that the parents like should be prosecuted as well?
Of course. Like I said, if the adult in the situation wasn't a multimillionaire superstar that could change their life and their kids' life, they would if it was somebody working at UPS, the post office, a teacher, you name it, any non-million-dollar, multi-million-dollar person, they want to let the kid come in within 5 feet of them. That's simple.
Okay, so how about this? All the big music execs right now that are being called out or sued or whatever the case may be, even though these actions are things that happened 20 years ago, do you think they should be held accountable 20 years later?
So this is funny. I'm a music producer, song. Hold on, let me put this out here. So there have been times when I've been approached to work with, all the girls want to be rappers now. They all want to get in the studio. And the minute I tell them straight up, like, you need a budget and this is what it's going to cost, right? And immediately, if they ain't got the money, or if they got the money, they just don't want to spend it, they offering other services.
How old are these girls?
Some of them grown, some of them in college, some are older.
What services, Corey? Be real hanky. What service?
They ready to do whatever. They ready to get what they want. They use what they got to get what they want.
For real?
Yes,
So what's the youngest?
See, this I don't know the age. Listen, first of all, none of that mean the age. Only thing that matters to me.
The reason I asked is because if it was somebody younger that needed a parent around, then my next question was going to be like, if they were younger and they needed like an adult person around, was the adult around when they made these advances? Because it shows me the mentality of that person and then what they have going on around them. So it speaks. It just speaks.
No, these were grown. This happened like the other day to me. It was a grown ass woman. You see what I'm saying? So that's the part of it we're not talking about. That's the other side we're not talking about, to where, like, when it don't go the way or the money run out, or this and that and the third, or their career don't take off like they think it should, now it's a problem.
But then if that's the case, then we need more people like you that say, no, baby, I need
that check. You know what I'm saying? I ain't asking your age or nothing. I'm asking, do you have my check?
A wire, a big wire, like, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing though. And that's what separates you in this situation. With that being said, it's like, yes, business is the initial conversation. And then once you ask for the coins, then they offer up other things. But you decided to be like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing none of that. I need my money. Period.
I've been cool since kindergarten, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't never had to do none of that weird shit, you know what I'm saying? Like when everybody had a pack of crayons, I had the 128 packs. I had different shades of colors, you feel me?
Right.
So at the end of the day, like for me, like I see it a lot, but I just most of the time I just see, they thinking that they could, because they cute or whatnot, or they got a fat ass, or they pretty, or they fine, that they think that's their currency. And that's the thing that nobody wants to talk about, where, like we live in this whole world now, you look on social media, and that's the first thing you see between the men and the women wars. He got to have a check. He got to cut a check.
City girls are up, period.
All that, you know what I'm saying? So that's the reality of what's going on right now. And that's where it starts. That's how you let your 15-year-old hang around a 30-year-old, because he got a check.
Right.
No, not everybody is on that hanky. And then you talking about, oh, you're the one lone soldier, white woman soldier. Any other dude in the studio would have been like, "What's up?" Like, you the only one
them niggas lame. If they do that, they lame, because it's like, bro, like if you really out here, if you really you ain't gonna have to use a beat to get. That's crazy.
But that's the thing though. Like, okay, so let's take it back and let's just be real about it. Some of these dudes were so lame back in the day when they was fucking growing up, to now that they are in a position of some type of power. They are in a position of what people think is some type of coolness, and they are using that to leverage. Point blank. And them niggas still lame to this day.
Yeah.
Still lame. And you know that. You work with these niggas. You know that. You are just definitely one of the very few that don't have to do that.
So there we go.
Take that.
But
I just think that's what's been going on. I really think that's what's been going on. Like I often ask that, like, how do you let your child leave out the house and go stay with a grown ass man?
All right. So here's one thing that we do need to clarify. Because Cassie was signed to Diddy, right? And then you had like the rumors of even Foxy Brown being young as hell, and she was, signed, or whatever the case may be. Althea was never signed. It was like just a full-blown relationship between a 15-year-old child that started to the point that she was 18 with an older man. So with that being said, you do have some of these men that do decide to carry on full-blown relationships with these younger girls. Number one, so they can mold them to how they want them to be. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So it's not always like, a lot of the times some type of business situation was involved, but then you have other times where it wasn't. Or it might have started that way, like even in the Cassie and Diddy situation, but it grew into a full-blown other situation. And now we're just we're looking at it like, what the fuck is going on? So anyways, this was fun and I fully enjoyed it. Thank you, Hanky, for coming on with your shaggy You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you for having me, and I'll have my computer next time. It was a,
Please.
you know, I didn't know. You know, she hit me,
Next
told me
time.
to pull up, so I stopped and pulled up.
I like that. And Rashida, thank you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep doing this thing, my girl. You know,
Period. We got a vibe. I'm vibing with you, sis. We here.
all day. So
Yay.
real quick, we're gonna say bye to the live and continue the discussion on InStyleAtlanta.com. So live IG, holla at you. Bye, Rose.
Bye.
On the side.